Hello everybody and welcome back to the Texas Podcast. I am your host Gabe, and today we'll be talking about the Battle of Nacogdoches. The Battle of Nacogdoches happened on August 2nd, 1832 after a group of Texans resisted an order issued in July by the commander of the Mexican army at Nacogdoches, Texas to surrender their arms. The situation soon escalated into a major battle. Numerous communities advocated support for the Mexican Federalists who were revolting against the centralist government. The Texans thought they had found their champion when Antonio Lopez de Santa Anna declared against the centralist regime in 1832. The Mexican army commander in Nacogdoches, José de las Piedras, after reviewing all that occurred during the Anahuac disturbances, had issued an order that all residents in his area surrender their arms. James Bowie heard of the situation and cut short a visit to Natchez in July 1832 to return to Texas. The city officials in Nacogdoches resisted the order and soon organized a militia. On July 28th, they issued a call for help from the local settlements. Messengers were sent out requesting military assistance. Samuel S. Davis and Bailey Anderson Jr. brought men to Nacogdoches from the area surrounding the Aish Bayou, and John M. Bradley brought men from the San Augustine area, and James Bradshaw brought a company from the Natchez settlement. Parties from the Sabine and Shelby settlements were also sent as assistance. On August 1st, a force of about 300 men met up at Pine Hill and elected James W. Bullock of Atoyac Bayou as their captain. On the morning of August 2nd, 1832, Bowie joined the Texan militia, and they joined the march into Nacogdoches to voice their demands to Piedras and to declare favor for Santa Anna. Piedras declared and declined to rescind his order and to support Santa Anna. The group returned in the evening, and before they had reached the building housing the city officials, they were attacked by a force of 100 Mexican cavalry. The Texans returned fire, but some eventually fell back. Fighting continued and the cavalry retreated. 100 Texans initiated a siege of the garrison. As house-to-house fighting progressed, the Texans took possession of several buildings in the old stone fort. With Mexican casualties escalating, the Mexican army took refuge in the main fort. A second battle line began to form from the north that drove the cavalry from the Mexican headquarters known as the Old Red House, while Redlanders arriving from San Augustine approached from the rear. During the night, the Mexican army evacuated the city. On August 3rd, James Carter, Bowie, and 15 companions ambushed the fleeing army on the Angelina River, and Piedras fled to a nearby home. His men turned against him, and Captain Francisco Medina took charge. Medina declared to be Federalist and surrendered Piedras and 300 troops to the Texans. Piedras had lost some 40 men killed and 40 wounded. The Texans marched the rest of the soldiers back to Nacogdoches and on to San Antonio, where they were released. Asa Edwards escorted Piedras to Stephen F. Austin at San Felipe. Piedras was paroled and sent to the Mexican interior. The Texans suffered 3 killed, 4 wounded, and 1 mortally wounded. Now, this one about the Battle of Nacogdoches is very short because there's very little to go off of about this battle, because there's very little known about it. It's a very not well-known battle, but it was I would count it as one of the earliest engagements of the upcoming Texas Revolution, only 3 years prior to the actual revolution starting. Because the Battle of Nacogdoches and Velasco both happened the same year, and those are what evidently led the groundwork. With the Anahuac disturbances, they all led the groundwork for the upcoming Texas Revolution. And 3 years later, of course, the Texas Revolution would begin. Anyways, I want to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.